Hello YouTube, this is Chris again with Bakersfield Services. So I'm having to stomach being on NASA's live stream, and I rewound it. As you can see, it's there live, going on live right now. I rewound it to see if I could catch anything, kind of skipping through, and I catch another statement again from NASA, not stating back to the moon, but to the moon and beyond, which insinuates we've never been to the moon. So that means the moon landing is a hoax, like I keep telling everybody. Now you're going to say, well, Chris, or BPS, or Bakersfield Services, does that mean that the moon is not in our atmosphere, as you keep saying? It's not in our sky, as you keep saying? No, that's not what that says. What that says there, tell the truth within the lies, like I keep saying. This is them telling the truth that, again, we have not been to the moon. They've lost the technology. Look that up. Apparently, we've lost the technology. All this data and all these videos and all the technology, it's a long paper trail to rebuild, but we can send the Tesla car into space. That's a hoax too. We can send all these so-called satellites in space. That's a hoax too. As far as I'm concerned, all those are hoaxes. Everything I'm seeing says they're hoaxes. Then you've got, just everything NASA does is a lie and a hoax. And every once in a while they slip and they tell the truth, or they tell the truth to rub it in our faces, or to say this is what we're going to do next, telling each other. NASA works for the Illuminati. You don't have to believe me. Anyway, let's get to this. So listen to this guy. He works for NASA. I'll let him introduce himself and who he works for. And what this is here, them showing this fake freaking rocket. So anyway, listen, guys.
Joel Montalbano, the ISS Deputy Program Manager here in Baikonur. Joel, I'm always struck by the fact that 24 hours ago a Soyuz crew lands, and now a rocket is on the pad ready to take another trio up to the space station. Your thoughts on, from a programmatic level, how complicated this is and how struck you are by the whole process?
It's impressive, Rob. Everything we do together as a partnership to work together and make these missions successful. You know, Wednesday's launch will be followed by a docking on Friday, and then this crew will be up in orbit almost over 6 months, 190 days, and we have them rocking and rolling the whole time. Just in June alone, we have a U.S. spacewalk scheduled for mid-June. We have a SpaceX cargo vehicle scheduled to launch in late June. And then for the rest of the duration, we have Russian, Japanese, and U.S. vehicles coming and going. We have a Russian EVA in August. Just an amazing process, an amazing schedule that we have for these crews.
November will mark the 20th anniversary of the launching of the first element of this International Space Station. Could you, in your wildest dreams, imagine that the complex has been as successful, as productive as it is today, with more to come?
It's been a ride. It's unbelievable. The international cooperation that we've achieved across the space agencies, you know, the Japanese, the Canadians, the Russians, the Europeans, and NASA working together. We will be the benchmark for the future of international cooperation. As people look forward and they want to do new projects and how to explore internationally, they're going to use us as the benchmarks going forward.
And again, that's a great point. The blueprint that the ISS has paved and will be paving for future deep space exploration. How critical has been this whole process?
Well, again, we're using space station today to test exploration technologies that we will use as we go to the moon and beyond. We're doing life support testing. We're doing...
What did he just say? To the moon and beyond. Not back to the moon and beyond, but to the moon and beyond. And I understand, and I've done it in my own videos and streams where you stumble over a word, or you say the wrong word, but you correct yourself instantly. At least you try to. I know I tried to. But it's not just him. It's multiple people that work for NASA, these NASSholes, these astronauts, these people that are supposedly on the ISS have made the same statement. The astronauts that have supposedly went to the moon have made the same statements. It's not one guy, one mistake, not correcting himself one time. It's multiple people, guys, girls, designers, people that supposedly went to the moon, and people supposedly on the ISS making that same exact statement. Listen to him again, guys.
Again, we're using space station today to test exploration technologies that we will use as we go to the moon and beyond. We're doing life support testing.
Process.
Again, we're using space station today to test exploration technologies that we will use as we go to the moon and beyond. We're doing life support testing. We're technologies that we will use as we go to the moon and beyond. We're doing life support
that to me, along with everybody else that works for these nassholes and these astronauts, they're lying. They're telling the truth within the lies, or they slip by accident and say it, and they don't even correct themselves. They don't try to correct themselves. They just keep going on because the mass public is so plugged into the matrix of lies that unless you're unplugged, you don't catch it. And again, I am not saying the moon is not in our sky. The moon, sun, and stars are definitely in our skies. The Bible says so. It matches what I can see with my own eyes. Okay? What I am saying is they're telling you and me and everybody else we've never been to the moon by using that exact statement over and over and over. That exact statement. So it's not like he's stumbled over his words or missaid the wrong words. He says this exact, everyone that uses, that says this, says the exact statement he did. To the moon and beyond, to the moon and beyond. We're getting the technology to go to the moon and beyond, to the technology, to the moon and beyond. It's the same statement over and over and over. How is that not the same? How is it the same statement over and over if it's not rehearsed to say at certain points, to tell us right out in the open, we've never been to the moon. This is a big joke. Ha ha on you guys. I'm telling you, I've known we haven't been to the moon in a long time, and this is when I believe the moon was where NASA said it was, even though I didn't believe NASA, and I still don't believe NASA, but I still believe that NASA was possibly telling the truth. That's where the moon was. They've never been to the moon.
We're doing research on the human body. We're doing different experiments and looking at both the Earth. We're looking at down at the Earth. We're looking at, out in the space. We're learning things using the space station that'll take us forward as we go to the moon and beyond.
There he says it again.
Support testing. We're doing research on the human body. And we're using space station today.
Listen to what he says. And they're doing human testing on the body and respiration systems and all that. Didn't you figure all this out when you went to the moon last time? You asshole? Didn't you? Didn't you already figure out what suits we needed, the respiratory systems and everything else to actually get out and walk on the moon? And take pictures and selfies and moon rocks and all. Didn't you figure this out all already?
To test exploration technologies that we will use as we go to the moon and beyond. We're doing life support testing. We're doing research on the human body. We're doing different experiments and looking at both the Earth. We're looking at down at the Earth. We're looking at, out in the space. We're learning things using the space station that'll take us forward as we go to the moon and beyond. And it'll be a stronger program because of what we've achieved on the International Space.
So not only does he say it once, but he says it twice, back to back, and in between he sandwiches that that they're testing on human bodies and so endurance testing and the respiration systems and all these other things, technology, looking down at the Earth, looking down at the Earth. I mean, think about it, guys. Think about what the statement he just said. And look at that whole thing. In between the two phrases, the exact same phrase, to the moon and beyond. To the moon and beyond.
Station.
Pat Forrester.
So, there it is there, guys. Again, NASA caught lying to us, right to our faces, telling the truth within the lies, as clear as day. It's crystal clear. Wake up, guys. Unplug from the matrix of lies. Take that red pill. Put on your Rowdy Piper glasses and all these other things and see the truth. because it's right here in our faces. And they keep using the same phrases over and over. Like that guy said that there, to the moon and beyond. Look it up. NASA video after 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 NASA video, stream after stream after stream. They say the same statement, to the moon and beyond, when they're asked specific questions. And they're usually the same type of question that they're asked. This is scripted. They're rubbing it in your face. Then they're always bringing up the technology, how we don't have the technology to get through the Van Allen belt. But we did that in the 60s and 70s. The Van Allen belt's not even real. That's them saying the firmament or the dome. Then you get, the respiratory systems and the technology, and it's a paper trail to rebuild the technology, go back to the moon again, and so on and so on. They're telling you, within their little codes and their lies, that they've never been to the moon. They haven't been to the moon because they can't get up that high to get to the moon. But then they don't have the technology to do the things that they claim that they're already doing. They don't have the technology to do it. And they're admitting that by like that statement he said there. And they hear it over and over with different NASA astronauts and NASSholes and all these different people that work for the NASA, the lying program from the Illuminati. Over and over and over again, they say that we don't have the technology to do these things that they're already claiming we're doing for our equipment, for our respiratory systems, for our suits, for going to these places they're already saying they're going. It's a scam, guys. It's a joke. It's a lie. To pull everybody away from, again, I'm going to repeat myself, away from the Word of God, away from God, away from His Son Jesus, away from salvation. Because it's nothing but a lie. Period. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there. And so I can get this thing uploaded, so I can get back to work. But rate, comment, subscribe. There's all the links in the About Me section. Keep praying for my marriage restoration soon in God's time. I know it's going to be restored and the divorce is going to be called off and everything's going to be great, better than it ever was, as God promised me it would be. I'm still sober. We got a couple more days. I'll be sober, 9 months now? Anyway, rate, comment, subscribe. There's all the links in the About Me section. And I will see you guys on the next one. God bless. Hello, YouTube. I thought I was done making the video, but two things. When I said we don't have the technology to go as high as the moon, because for sake of time, I was trying to make it as short as possible, and I got going on one of my tirades as well, because this shit makes me angry that we're being lied to, and they're lying to my kids and you guys and me and my wife, my family, my grandkids, so my loved ones, and just humanity in general. And so I get going in these tirades, but sometimes. So I don't like clickbaiting. So I was looking up something. I was trying to find a thumbnail, and this is what I come across. But when I said that we didn't have the technology to get to get higher than the moon to get to the moon, I didn't finish that statement. The statement was that if it's where NASA says that it is, that's the finished part of that statement. So I apologize, guys, that I didn't, finish that statement. But anyway, so let's get on to this. All right, so as you see, it's NASA.gov. It's the Johnson Space Center. You can pause this if you want to pause to read it. And this says the development of Earth's independence extends human presence beyond low Earth orbit and cislunar space. So with that said, if a development of Earth's independence extends human presence, if it's like my presence right now, my human presence is in my car, say Earth. if I want to extend my presence to somewhere else that I am currently not, I'm going to extend my presence. I'm going to open my door and I'm going to get out, and I'm going to now extend my presence to the outside. Okay. So that's what that, I mean, I'm sure you figured that out, but again, the truth within the lies. Beyond low Earth orbit. So as of right now, we can't get past low Earth orbit according to NASA. Okay. So look at this chart. Now those rings, okay, those are where we can currently go as of these years. Now look at now is using International Space Station. Phase 0. Continue research and testing on ISS to solve exploration challenges, evaluate potential for lunar resource development standards. Well, didn't we already do that when we went to the moon in the 60s and 70s and gathered moon rocks and took selfies and planted our flag and all these other lies that they said that we'd done already? All right, well, now look at phase 1 in the 2020s. So we're not even there yet. We're in 2018. Operating in the lunar vicinity proving ground. Okay. Now look at phase 1. Beginning mission in the cislunar space. Build deep space gateway. Initiate assembly of the deep space transport. So, but again, don't we already have bases on the moon? We have all these things. You know, we've been there. We've got the space crafts and stuff that we left and whatever other lie bullshit that they say. I mean, haven't we already been to the moon's surface? So we should know what it's like there. We should know what equipment we need. We should know how to set up a base. I mean, think about that. Begin mission into cislunar space, build deep space gateway, and initiate assembly of deep space transport. And what gateway? What gateway are they talking about? Deep space gateway. But my mind instantly goes to like a Stargate or maybe even CERN or something of that nature. But that's where my mind goes. That's not proven. That's just a theory that's just popped in my head. But, I mean, come on, guys. Think about this. Think logically. With what they just said in that video that I showed you and this, just these two things alone, in a court of law, they would be held guilty for lying to the mass public. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off here now so I can get these two edited together real quick on my phone, get it uploaded, and I will see you guys on the next one. Rate, comment, subscribe. God bless.